This current construction is 800 years old, 801 this year, but about 1550 years ago, Saint Brigid founded this joint monastic site for both men and women to study Christianity. And this is a Nordic interpretation. You can see from on the apex, on the gables, that it was probably post-Viking invasion. And on the north side is the fire temple. This is the St. Brigid's cross, which was made and fashioned from rushes, and she fashioned the rushes at the deathbed of her father Dovtak, who converted to Christianity at his death. So the rushes were picked up from the floor and then literally folded. So there's a way of doing it, and there's lots of YouTube videos that can actually show how that's done. And so the tradition now is that on the 31st of January, every 31st of January in the evening, you gather rushes, you wrap them in a cloth, which is called a brathach. Brath means flag, or a healing cloth. So a brathach is left wrapped in the rushes, wrapped in these and left at the hearth of the home. And then the cross is made the following morning and hung in the house as a symbol of Christianity, and then it is there to protect the home and welcome everybody and let everyone know that this is a Christian home you're entering into and that you'll stay in the protection of that. And you can see from it there's a skull and crossbones and an egg timer. Now, nothing to do with piracy. It's actually from 1708. It was placed outside over the door to remind us that we have a short life and we need to live it well. So we're on a clock, basically. And when we're living in a Christian church, that we have to live in accordance with the commandments. The 5 commandments and the 5 responses. The shall nots and the shall do. So we have a way of living in the Christian tradition to emulate that. And that literally from 1708, that was placed outside to remind people of the brevity of life. And in the Church of Ireland tradition, there's a general absolution, and the job of the individual is to, your forgiveness is between you and God, and there's a general absolution given. And sometimes people come here and ritualise the fact that they are seeking atonement. So the Stone of Atonement is basically a place to come to, and you literally leave your worries, concerns, issues, maybe things you've done or failed to do, you leave that here with God in God's house, and that literally is a place where people can ritualise that.
Do people still come here for healing or?
Always. People come here as pilgrims and as general visitors. People are sometimes surprised that it is still very much a living church, that there are services here on a regular basis. We've confirmations coming up in the next week or so. So there's lots of activity going on. Myself and Reverend Philip work for the Kildare Centre of Mission. So our purpose is outreach, living faith, really, Christian faith in action, engaging with people beyond the walls of the church. So it's not just about the building. But there's so much history steeped in this beautiful construction. And I always marvel at the majesty of these buildings when I think about our ancestors and the techniques that they would have employed to build such a beautiful church. hilltop site. We're at the same height here as what was the Nelson's Pillar in Dublin, which was unfortunately blown up in the 1960s. But it just shows you that this was a really important hilltop site and is actually linked through all the various different hilltops. The Wi-Fi of their time was flame. They lit fires on the hilltops to communicate, particularly when the Hill of Tara gathering would have happened to elect the High King of Ireland. They would have gathered all the kings from the different baronies around the country, exchanged skills, looked at various different knowledge and techniques, skills of peacemaking and peace building, and gathered on the hilltop and then lit the fire when the king was elected. The first change to that was when St Patrick lit the Paschal fire on the Hill of Slane before the High King of Ireland lit his fire, and the relay of fires was announcing to the country that the new king was elected. So Hill of Tara, Hill of Uisneach, Hill of Allen, here and then out to Nacolan and out into the country. So they may not have had the sophistication of Wi-Fi, but they certainly had a way of letting people know that there was a new king. Is a baptismal font, which has been rarely used. It's here since 1879, but the preferred font is the one at the west end of the cathedral, and that's where St Lawrence O'Toole would have been baptised in his time. So we might go down to that. It's actually a granite, an ancient granite piece, and there would have been a basin within it where this was actually deliberately fashioned and designed as a baptismal font. And it was Canon Eaton, Reverend Canon Eaton, the first canon of the cathedral back in 1879, that arranged this installation, and it is beautiful but just isn't used. It's not as popular as the original granite one. There are times here that we have cascades of water on the interior, so it's constant love and attention to the building because it is 800 years old. So the donations that people make when they come through the cathedral enable us to maintain and care for the building so that it's here for generations to come. And it's a living church, as you saw here. We had Christian worship here this morning, but spiritual tourism is a huge part of what we do. People can come here and literally celebrate the fact that Saint Brigid founded this monastic site so long ago, and imagine being remembered 1500 years after your demise.
Yeah.
That's some impact to have.